everyone again. Good to see you. I thought today we might talk a little bit about some simplifying ways to teach some social emotional learning skills. People often ask me, Polly, what's a good curriculum? What should we buy? What do you think? Who should teach it? Do we do small groups, large groups, whole classrooms? And we as schools have been grabbing onto all kinds of different things and ways to get social emotional learning into the classroom. I would like to think of it as not such a regimented thing, if you will. It's not about filling out a worksheet on empathy and you suddenly become, an expert on empathy when you're 9 years old or whatever age. So if we think outside of, does it have to be a curriculum, and maybe we're not a little comfortable with teaching some of the social emotional learning skills that we know are really lacking, just really back up the bus and do it simple. So I think right now it's timely, and I've been thinking about this myself, of how might I read to my kids in my classroom, even like this. If I'm teaching online, if you will, or if I'm teaching from home, I can do it the same way I would do it in the classroom. Kids love to be read to, and I think every reading person in the world realizes how incredibly important it is. So I want to share with you a little part of my library. I kind of have this thing about buying children's books, and even though I don't have small children anymore, I just find them to be just wonderful tools. And I think when I transition kids back from cafeteria or back from recess or places like that, or even changing classes at the high school or middle school level, I love to sit down and read to them. And people say, Polly, the high school level, you read to them? Yeah. One of my classes I can really remember was a class that would really struggle after lunch, and I had them for like English or language arts right after lunch, and boy, they'd come in just loaded, on fire, just running around the room, totally out of control. And every day I sat down and I read to them. And I read to them very animated and all the things that we do as teachers, and they just loved it. And then I took it a little bit further and said, what types of books could I get that would be kind of teaching social emotional learning at the same time I'm calming them down? So, you got to be efficient. We don't have a lot of time on our hands. Let me share a few with you that I particularly love. Things like this, After the Fall, which really talks about life begins when you get back up. Just a storybook like this, reading this, you're teaching kids about resiliency. One of the things that we always complain that they don't have. Maybe it's a book like On's Anger. Again, I don't sell these books. I'm here to give you some ideas as a teacher that teaches kids how to get through their own tantrum. I think that's super important. Maybe it's Nerdy Birdie Tweets. This is pretty timely. As we're all online and social media and all kinds of things, we need to learn before we push, post what people might think of this and how it might be perceived in multiple ways. Great little book, all ages. Like I said, I am not beyond reading this to high school ages, so don't get caught up there. The old tried and true book, The Day the Crayons Quit, teaching about fairness and all the stories that are present in this book. One of my other favorites, Polly in her duck costume, really teaches about empathy. Super fun book to look at, and kids can really think about empathy when it comes to this story. And another one that I was shared with me by a classroom teacher who's brilliant, and she said, boy, you don't have this book yet? And I said, no, and it's called The Energy Bus for Kids. And it's really about positivity and getting kids back to thinking positive. It's a story about staying positive and overcoming challenges. And this particular teacher that I met actually put a big section of her classroom, and she decorated it with a little school bus in the back. And when the kids were really struggling, they would go get on the energy bus. Isn't that fabulous? Bringing all your kids to the place in the classroom where they could get back to being positive. So SEL, social emotional learning, you can simplify it. Grab some of these things if you can. Use these tools, read to those kids, and that stuff will sink in little by little. Thanks for watching. And let me know what your comments are below. And anybody got other ideas or other titles? That would be a great thread for us to start sharing. What are some titles that you use in your classroom? Thanks a lot. See you next time. Thanks for watching, and I hope you found this video helpful. If you did, make sure to like and subscribe so you never miss another video. I speak and consult on school behavior, and I love to help districts solve some of these problems. See you next time.